Guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about a bill that I find extremely troubling on multiple levels, but especially one, and as soon as I read the title, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to figure out which level is the one that troubles me the most. So I actually found this out via Twitter. Turns out sometimes Twitter can actually lead you to find out some news that is valid and not completely ridiculous or completely mind-numbing. This is mind-numbing in another way, mind you. A get out of jail free card. GOP bill would eliminate age requirements for marriages in Tennessee. Let me just say that again in case any of us have missed the creepiness that just comes with that. Elimination of age requirements for marriage in Tennessee. A proposal making its way through the Tennessee legislature would establish a common law marriage between one man and one woman. This is ironic in such a disgusting way because it's like, yeah, we're not going to put an age requirement, but it has to be one man and one woman. Like that has to be specified. Like it can't be two men, two women, whatever. That's crossing the line. But having potential child brides, having potential predators marrying their victims that are underage, that's totally okay. Opponents of the bill, HB 233, say it would eliminate an age requirement and in some instances open the door for a cover-up of child sex abuse. Exactly. And also, I just think it's such an obvious thing to put an age limit on a bill to do with marriage. I think that's one of the first things I would think of with a marriage bill is to make sure that it's not being taken advantage of by perverted, deranged people. Under current Tennessee law, you can get married as young as 17 with parental consent, which I already think is young enough. I mean, sure, there's parental consent, but 17 is still pretty young. The bill's sponsor, Tom Leatherwood, said the law being considered would add a new marriage option for Tennesseans. So all this bill does is give an alternative form of marriage for those pastors and other individuals who have conscientious objection to the current pathway to marriage in our law. So it's interesting to me that here the example that's being used is pastors and other individuals who have a conscientious objection, because I think that makes it seem like this bill is really only doing good and that there's nothing necessarily wrong with it and that it's to help people, if they find love, to be able to marry the person they love as long as you're one man and one woman as the article specified. I think that's just it's almost laughable because it's like you're choosing to highlight pastors and religion to make it sound pure, but the reality is that this is a grim-ass bill, in my opinion. We need to put in some parameters or else this is going to be a disaster. But missing from the bill are age requirements, opening the door for possible child marriages, something the bill's sponsor acknowledged during a Children and Family Affairs subcommittee meeting. There is not an explicit age limit, Leatherwood said. Representative Mike Stewart, who sits on the subcommittee the bill passed out of, said he doesn't understand the motivation. I don't think any normal person thinks we shouldn't have an age requirement for marriage, which I completely agree with, and I know that I say this basically every time that we discuss this, but when I see these types of bills, I'm wondering who is in full support of the non-age requirement. You know what I mean? Like, who are the people here that are part of making this bill that don't really want age requirements or conveniently left them out? Because I have questions for them too. Like, what are your motives? Because it seems like such a specific thing to leave out. And I mean, with marriage, it's always been, you know, of course, marriage is about love and commitment and blah, blah, blah. But there's also always been the discussion of how young is too young to get married. And there's always been the discussion of if you're right at the cusp, you need parental consent. So to just leave the ages out to me does not seem just like a mistake or something that no one thought of. To me, it seems very, very specifically done. And I don't want to know the reason why. I mean, I do, but I think we also all kind of already know the reason why. Stewart added that it could open up the possibility to cover up child sex abuse. It should not be there, as it's basically a get out of jail free card for people who are basically committing statutory rape. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. So that's another reason why this terrible bill should be eliminated, as Stewart said. I completely agree with that, and I just don't understand why this bill is there at all. This just seems so out of left field, and it seems so just specific and particular in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable. The Sexual Assault Center of Middle Tennessee released the following statement on the bill. The Sexual Assault Center does not believe the age of consent for marriage should be any younger than it already is. It makes children more vulnerable to coercion and manipulation from predators, sexual and other. Now, I don't think that my opinion on this is surprising at all, but I really do have to question what the point of this bill really was to begin with. If this bill does pass, which I mean, I really hope it doesn't, and the optimist in me, which is like a tiny little shred of wet paper that might rip up at any second, says there's no way this is going to pass without putting an age limit. The other part of me is like, we've seen some pretty fucked up shit this year, well, in the past 2 years especially. And so would I be entirely surprised if they found a kind of roundabout way to get young people married, like a loophole kind of way for young people to get married? That wouldn't surprise me either. And so I'm really uncomfortable with this. I don't know why this is even really a discussion being had. I think 17 is young enough with parental consent, to be honest, and putting it at any lower age would, frankly, I think just enable predators. I think it would enable predators. And on top of that, we've all seen that there are some predators that are not ashamed of who they are, you know, like proud pedophiles online on Twitter or on other platforms who are just like really okay with being like that. And not only are they okay with it, but they're okay with taking action or seeking out minors. And I feel like if there were a bill that says, oh yeah, you can marry someone of any age, that would really enable them, and I think give them not extra courage, but kind of like an extra validation as to their behaviors or their aspired behaviors. So I don't know. I just hope this is all a joke, which it should be, because it's ridiculous. And I can't even imagine this discussion being real. It sounds like it should be satirical, to be honest. Anyways, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons, as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.